A major heat wave is coming to the United States for the next 1 to 2 weeks, and that will spawn significant severe weather with damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes, and believe it or not, more very heavy rainfall, which could lead to flooding across the United States going into the middle, but especially end of July and into early August. We'll look at that. The tropical weather update in this video as well. So if you are here, you know that we do straightforward, accurate, and reliable weather information daily here on the channel. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not already so you get these daily updates that are accurate and reliable and straightforward to the forecast. Like the video, give it a thumbs up, and share it with a friend, family member, and on social media. The temperatures today were nothing short of outstanding here across the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and the Northeast. And the Northeastern folks over here are welcoming these 70s with open arms because yesterday, if you remember, we were in the upper 80s to low 90s. 70s with lower humidity is definitely a nice relief across the Northeast. Heat, though, is not too far away. It's down here into the southern plains and into the southeast, and obviously the desert southwest as well, where you find the heat this time of year. Going through the weekend, though, as we go into tomorrow, notice the 70s will continue on your Saturday, July 19th, across the north into the upper Midwest, warming up a smidge across the Ohio Valley into the Northeast into the 80s with some humidity. But look at the oppressive heat really building across the central, southern plains and along the Gulf Coast states, well into the 90s and triple digits from areas of Wichita, Oklahoma City into the Tulsa area, Little Rock, and the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And it's going to get even hotter as we go into Sunday, July 20th. That heat will correlate to severe thunderstorm development. So as we go through this evening and overnight, we have scattered severe thunderstorms possible in yellow, and in the dark green, isolated strong to severe thunderstorms possible there from the high plains and Rockies back into parts of the Midwest, and then again from the Tennessee Valley into the mid-Atlantic states as well. There is a tornado threat overnight tonight. This is after dark, and we could be seeing a 5% chance of tornadoes in brown across southeastern South Dakota, southwest Minnesota, northwestern Iowa, and northeastern Nebraska. In green surrounding that, including the Des Moines metropolitan area, we do have the potential of tornadoes there. It's a 2%, so just a smidge lower of a chance, but a chance nonetheless. So this is all within a 25-mile radius of any given point in or around this area. And then as we go into Saturday, a larger area of scattered severe thunderstorm development stretching from Iowa in through Illinois, southern Wisconsin, southern lower Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, all the way over into portions of western New York State, and then over here into Nebraska and northwest Kansas, keeping an eye on that threat for scattered severe weather in the yellow. In the dark green, again, isolated strong to severe thunderstorms will remain possible across the high plains, into the Midwest, and into the Ohio Valley region, where again we do have a chance for tornadoes tomorrow. Maybe not as high of probabilities for right now, but there is a 2% chance of tornadoes, including the Detroit area, Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo, down here into Toledo and Dayton, getting into the Fort Wayne and Indianapolis area, and then back toward Peoria, Illinois, the I-80 and I-74 corridors there in central Illinois. So let's start here in the eastern U.S. We'll go to the central U.S. next, and then the western U.S. after that, and talk about the timing of these showers and storms over the next 24 to 48 hours. So here we go at 6 o'clock this evening. We do have some showers and storms in scattered to numerous fashion across the southeast. Some of these storms could be intense enough to bring some damaging winds, some locally heavy rainfall, and some hail. Notice as we lose the sunlight, we lose the storm energy, and thus we lose the storm coverage and intensity along with that. And then as we go into Saturday morning, we're going to see quiet weather, and then during the afternoon, we'll pop up more of those thunderstorms here into the Tennessee Valley, back over into the mid-Atlantic, and again, a few of these could pose a risk for damaging winds, larger hail, and a very low, but again, non-zero tornado risk, although it is less than 2% down across this region. Now, in the central United States, going to be very active as well. Here this evening, we're watching upstream into portions of central Minnesota, eastern South Dakota, where we're seeing scattered thunderstorm development this evening. These storms will continue to drop south and east with time, and as they do, they'll be encountering a more intensifying environment, right? We're going to have a lot more storm energy in Iowa, a lot more storm energy in Nebraska and southern Minnesota. So these storms overnight could not only produce damaging winds and hail, but also a few isolated tornadoes. So make sure if you are in the Midwest, including parts of South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, and Nebraska, that you have your NOAA weather radio handy and have multiple ways to receive severe weather and watches and warnings overnight while you sleep, because some of these could become tornadic. Eventually, this could kind of cluster up across the central portions of Iowa, the Des Moines area, Waterloo, Iowa City, and Cedar Rapids, back toward Omaha. And that could lead to more of a damaging wind threat. Now, it is uncertain how the evolution of this, how it evolves over time into Saturday morning. This could be a cluster of storms that is really insignificant, that just produces heavy rain, some gusty winds and hail, or this could turn into a derecho and produce widespread wind damage as it crosses the Mississippi River into Illinois, into Indiana. So that is a little bit uncertain right now, but we'll keep an eye on trends as we go through the day on Saturday. Additional storms will pop up in the high plains Saturday afternoon and take a run toward the Midwest. As they encounter the Midwest, we're going to have a cap on the atmosphere, so these storms could be a little bit weaker over here heading into your Sunday morning. Now, going across the western U.S., this evening we got plentiful showers and thunderstorms across the Rockies, and the monsoonal flow continues. As soon as the sun sets is as soon as we start to dwindle in the coverage and intensity of those storms, as you typically see in the Rockies and in the monsoonal flow this time of year for the western U.S. That will continue into Saturday morning, dry weather, and then we'll start to pop up more of those storms, although with less coverage as we go through the day on Saturday and into Sunday morning across portions of the Rockies, but especially Colorado, New Mexico, seeing that monsoonal flow. Going into your Sunday, we actually have a marginal risk of severe weather in dark green, where again, isolated severe thunderstorms possible from the north central plains through parts of the lower Midwest, Ohio Valley, and into the mid-Atlantic. This does include the I-95 corridor, I want to add, so millions of people are at risk here on Sunday for at least some chance of severe weather from Boston and Hartford down to New York City, Philadelphia, Baltimore, down to Washington, D.C. That I-95 corridor is included there, mainly for damaging winds, but hail and an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. Now, going through the portion of next week between Monday, July 21st and Friday, July 25th, the heat will be on, and it will be on in a big way. Big ridge of high pressure developing in the central United States. This will force our temperature anomalies to go 15 to even 20 degrees above normal heading into next week. And all the culprit is this high pressure system in the southeastern U.S. It's going to flex its muscles by the time we get to the middle of next week by Wednesday, and this could build some heat in the extreme humidity up into the Midwest, southern Great Lakes, and Ohio Valley vicinity here as well. So looking here at our temperatures, it's going to be a daily type of occurrence where we're going to be seeing well into the 90s, triple-digit heat for the central United States here, and this could push up by the middle of next week, by Wednesday, even Thursday, into the Midwest. And this is going to be helped by the corn crops and the soybeans, right? So it's called evapotranspiration. It's the corn crops and the soybeans giving back off moisture. That's how they grow, but it gives back off moisture into the atmosphere, and it raises those dew point temperatures well into the 70s, and if that's not enough, maybe even low 80s at times by the middle of next week, and that is air you can wear. You walk right outside and you start sweating immediately. That is the type of humidity we're dealing with as we go into the middle of next week, and that in turn will lead to higher humidity or higher heat index values that could be approaching 110, perhaps even 115 degrees Fahrenheit as we go into the central U.S., even including the Midwest, especially Wednesday afternoon. Des Moines, Chicago, even on the lakefront there, Milwaukee, Green Bay, all the way up there to the Twin Cities, 100-degree heat indexes plus as we go into Wednesday afternoon next week. That heat, that humidity will lead to storm energy here, and this is going to be, again, just like we explained it earlier, like jet fuel, right? You need jet fuel for a plane to fly, you need gas for a car to drive, you need storm energy for storms to form, and the more storm energy you get could produce significant severe weather. And notice how significant that storm energy is here, almost off the charts pretty much as we go into the middle of next week. Looking here at this, above normal precipitation is favored across the upper Midwest. That is a given in this pattern. That's where our low pressure systems go, over the top of that ridge. And this could force the potential of a couple of derechos to develop. And if you don't know what a derecho is a fast moving cluster of thunderstorms that produces widespread damaging winds, embedded instances of hail and tornadoes, and obviously torrential downpours. but it's notorious for its damaging wind swaths, with potentially, in extreme cases, derechos have already produced in the U.S., sometimes yearly, sometimes every few years, winds over 100 miles an hour. So something to keep an eye on here across the upper Midwest going into late July. Now, looking at the ridge, as we head into the early portion of August, now, next week, the ridge is in the southeast. That will retrograde further to the west as we go into late July, but early first week there of August, and expand across the desert southwest. And that will give a lot of the plains, but especially underneath that heat ridge in the desert southwest, even more extreme heat as we go through the August 4th and 5th time frame. And so our temperatures that you already thought were hot enough may get a little bit hotter across the plains as we're drying out the soil as well. And then we have to watch that northwest flow thunderstorm cluster risk. This time it could push at times further north into the southern Canadian prairies and clipping the upper Great Lakes region, and other times it could waver further south into the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Great Lakes. It's going to be kind of a variable pattern here further to the north. But what is known is that underneath that ridge of high pressure, the desert southwest and the southern plains are going to be baking in the heat with dry weather, primarily dry, through the early portion there of August. Now let's look here at the tropical weather update. The National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida, over the next 7 days is not expecting any tropical cyclone activity anywhere in the Atlantic Basin. This includes the Caribbean and the Gulf. And then looking at the East Pacific, just added here a couple updates ago, was a 20% chance of a tropical cyclone developing here well away from North America and halfway towards Hawaii, as a long way to go to get toward Hawaii. And again, it's a 20% chance. So it's a low chance right now, but it is something we're monitoring as we go through the long-term forecast. Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy this forecast, make sure first and foremost, subscribe to the channel for straightforward, accurate, and reliable weather information daily here on the channel. We'll have another video forecast out for you tomorrow and probably tomorrow afternoon as well as we track this active weather pattern. Like the video by giving it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it throughout. Share it with a friend, family member, and on social media. And if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, jot that down in the comment section down below this video. We are here 24/7, all day, all night, to answer any and all questions, comments, and concerns that you may have regarding the weather. Thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your Friday out there.